Okay, now well done for making it past all that boring stuff. Now in this lecture I'm going to be talking about the skin and nervous system, um, and the fact that and how it forms from the ectoderm. So in terms of like a really brief overview, essentially it's the notochord. It stimulates the ectoderm to fold over and form a tube, and the inner part becomes the central nervous system, and the outer part joins at the umbilical cord and forms the skin. One thing to note is that the notochord, as it lengthens down and it's laid down by Henson's node, the primitive streak shortens. So you can see that here happening with the neural, the sort of the notochord and neural plate being laid down by Henson's node, and the primitive streak shortening, shown here. One important thing to note is that the notochord acts as a guideline for laying down the vertebrae, and this is known as the neural plate. And the notochord runs from mouth to rear end, so the buccopharyngeal membrane, all the way to the cloacal membrane, and sits in the mesoderm, so that's between the ectoderm and the endoderm. One of the defects that can happen here is with conjoined twins, so it's when there's partial splitting of the primitive streak, and that results in thoracopygo or carneopagus, which means joining, so joined in the thoracic region, back or the head, and pagus means conjoined twins, I guess. So the way the neural tube forms is that the notochord, which is deep to the cells, it stimulates the neural plate to fold over and form neural folds, and these folds then become neural crests, and the crests fuse together, which I'll explain with the diagram, to form the neural tube. And you can see this here happening. The notochord, which is deep to the cells, stimulates these neural folds, which then which fold even more and form these neural crests, which then fuse together and form a neural tube here and the surface ectoderm here. So the neural tube that forms, what happens then is it separates from the surface ectoderm, and it sort of goes lower, and some is cut off above the neural tube, and this is the neural crest. So you can see this here. The neural tube, it formed from the joining of the crests, and retreated down and left these neural crest cells here, and left a surface ectoderm at the top. Now what happens with the surface ectoderm is that it bends around and forms the skin and sensory organs, and ultimately joins at the umbilical stalk. The neural crest material here, which is between the neural tube and the surface ectoderm, that forms a few different things. So it forms the dorsal root ganglia, it forms the adrenal medulla, it forms melanocytes, which are in the skin, and it forms the facial mesenchyme.